Hey everybody, Neil Roberts for the Royal Astronomical Society of Canada in Calgary. It is Majorville Medicine Wheel tonight with Dr. Gordon Freeman. He is going to give a packed house presentation on Canada's Stonehenge, located right here in Vulcan County, Alberta, starting at 7:30.
7 rays between north and west, 5 rays between west and south, 5 rays between east and south. 5 and 7 are sacred numbers. What do they mean here? I don't know, but it's part of the pattern.
Well, Vulcan has things to offer as a tourism. As you know, we're a Star Trek town, Star Trek capital of Canada, but we also have things that are before Star Trek, and the tourism, one of the things tourism has promoted is the Majorville Medicine Wheel, which is estimated to have been here about 4,000 years. So that is something that just fascinates people. When I did the article last year, it was the most responded to article I ever wrote in 5 years, so people are interested.
People are usually interested in ancient things. This is 5,200 years old. If you go back to Jesus, that's 2,000 years. You go back to Abraham, that's another 2,000 years. Abraham is the beginning of modern Judaism. This is 1,200 years. This is more than the time from here back to the Vikings, beyond Abraham. And they created a calendar that is more accurate than the Gregorian one, which was fiddled around. I'll tell you about it in the talk. In 1582, he fiddled the calendar to make Easter come out right. Well, you have to have a hobby, right? And so when I got to be 50, in my era, you couldn't teach after 65. You had to stop teaching at 65. And so I thought, well, I've got to have another job. So when I was 50, I started to fiddle around with my father's stone tool collection. And then I learned about the different kinds of arrowheads and knives and scrapers and stuff. And one thing led to another. And there was a man called Jim McGregor, who was a retired electrical engineer. See, all big discoveries are made by amateurs. And he had told us about a bunch of places that we should go and see, including the Majorville Medicine Wheel. And so we photographed 15 different places in 8 days, drove 4,500 kilometers. And the only place that didn't make sense, according to what archaeologists had told us, was the Majorville Medicine Wheel, because when we were walking up the hill, and it was on the hilltop, we saw other patterns of stones. So I photographed them. So I showed this to archaeologists. They said the glacier dropped those stones right there 10,000 years ago when it melted back. And the only thing made by man was the medicine wheel on the top. Well, I didn't think so. So my wife and I decided to study it ourselves. And we thought we'd solve it in 3 or 4 years. 36 years later, we're still making discoveries. There are 3 hills of the same height. The main one, and this one, and this one. They're all 919 meters, 919 meters above mean sea level, with an accuracy of 1 meter. There's a cairn on there that has been the observation point for the summer solstice sunrise. A few patterns of stones on this hill, and we thought if we just come back maybe 2 or 3 times a year, we would figure out what those patterns of stones mean. But we found patterns, and then more patterns, and then more patterns. There are thousands of patterns of stones spread over about 10 sections of land, 10 square miles. It's an enormous, it's like a spider web of stone patterns. And I only know what a few of them mean. The rest are for your generation.
That's easy. We're here to educate people on astronomy, and this just happens to be a special one. We've got Dr. Freeman, who's the expert on the medicine wheel, and he is here to show Packed House what all the medicine wheel was used for. And as you know, back then they didn't have iPhones, so they had to use other methods to date when the sun was rising and setting so they could know when the planting season was. It is a Alberta heritage site. It's not something that you can stop, but we're trying to encourage people to exercise due care if they do go down. One of the problems you have is it's not a maintained road, so you got to go during a very dry time, like a couple of days after a rainfall, and in the wintertime it's hard to get to. So the natural restrictions don't allow people to come down there like coming down to the Trek Center.
This is not a tourist site. This is a sacred site. You go to this site only the way you would go into a church. Don't touch anything. Look and go away. Take pictures, but don't move a stone. There's a gradation, a gradual gradation in the shapes of projectile points. There's no reason to believe that it's a different kind of culture back then than now. The newest ones are about 300 years old.
We meet here the second Friday every month at 7:30. We do a couple hours. First we do an hour inside, talk, take a 15-minute break, and then we'll go out for a couple hours with the telescope. As you know, today it's raining, so we're not going to be doing that part. But we'll hang around. Dr. Freeman has generously offered to come down and engage with other people that are here. Also, Alan Dyer, who's one of the leading astronomy experts in Canada, has dropped by, so he's another expert who can teach the skies way better than I can.